Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 5. We're nearing the end. We got one more left. We are so close to this thing being done. And you know what? This episode was probably my favorite of the entire lot. I think you just look at it objectively. There are some people who are like, want the high stakes action, but we needed to build back up to that. We had our big stakes last episode. Here we go, doing the emotional beats. Some of the showrunners and creatives involved in this show, they said that this episode was going to be the emotional stakes. You're going to feel stuff. You're going to have all the characters have their moments and get their closure and that kind of stuff. And you really felt that. We wrapped up a lot of storylines, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not. We don't have to do everything in the last episode. If we could take a step back here and set up the future and like the rest of the arc, we're doing things with a power broker maybe and just finishing the stuff with the flag smashers, that's pretty cool for the last episode. This one was really solid. I can see how some people might not be a fan of it though, but I liked it a lot. And there's one thing I'm really excited to talk about, because if you know me at all, you know that feels like there's a scene in this that feels like it was made specifically for me, which we'll get to. It opens up right where we left off. Johnny is running away. He's got the shield. He wants to escape. We get a great fight scene, kind of in that Civil War style, where there's two Captain America boys beating up a bad guy who's supposed to be a good guy. Bucky and Sam are beating up John. And it looks great. It's a great use of all their technology and their powers fighting each other. They can't really get the shield away from it. It's kind of like a game of capture the shield from the person. The reason they do get the shield is because they break his arm, which is a really good scene, and it looked really powerful and immenseful, and there was some real closure to that, and it was just like, wow, that is intense. So then Sam has the shield. It's a really good moment. I like that a lot. And then this is just kind of like we wrap up some storylines. We are seeing Johnny Walker, our Captain America, throughout the entirety of this show. He is discharged from the army, from the military. They're like, we can't associate with you. You went against protocol, and you see his anger soothing in that. It's like, you guys built me to do this. I am Captain America, and you can't take that away from me. So we're getting closer to that arc. He's no longer Captain America. The government is saying no. He's going off to say goodbye to Lamar's family, because he actually lies to them, being like, yeah, I killed the man that killed Lamar. We know you didn't. You know you didn't. But still, this is what I wanted from John. This is exactly what I needed for that character. Just the blatant lying, the stupidity, the guy who's just so fed up with everything that you can just feel like the gears switching in his head are slowly breaking down. And at the very end, when we get the post-credit scene when he's building the U.S. Agent armor and the U.S. Agent shield, that just worked. I was like, that's the guy. He made it here. He's always going to want to be Captain America. This is who he is. He's going to try to be that guy again. And just again, we'll get to it in a bit here, but I just really liked the way they handled John Walker's character in this episode. It was great. We get some resolution to the Zemo stuff, which it kind of went fast, but like, okay, the Dora Milaje comes to pick him up, and they're sending him back to the raft, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know why you don't take it back to Wakanda, but whatever. I understand why he's going there. It's pretty cool. That scene with him and Bucky when they're at the Sokovia Memorial, I really liked. And it had a great tension where Bucky's like, okay, like, I get it. Like, I'm not here to be the bad guy. I don't even have to say anything. Seb can just sit there and just have the whole scene play out, dropping the bullets, putting the gun up, and he can do it all without talking, and it works really well. Very powerful stuff. I like it. Zemo, a great character to introduce in here. Just having that storyline, I think it's wrapped up. I don't expect us to see Zemo happening anymore in this show. I think he won't be in the last episode, but he takes his name, Zemo takes his name out of Bucky's book. Very presumptuous, just being like, yeah, I brainwashed you to do a lot of killing, but yeah, we're cool. We did the Zemo cut. We're good. It was fun, though. I like that storyline. They give the wings to Joaquin, so Sam doesn't have the Falcon costume at the end of this episode. He only wears it in the beginning, and throughout the episode, he doesn't have it. Joaquin Torres gets the wings. We might be setting up that he's going to become Falcon at the end of the episode of next week. Who knows? Could be later. We could see him just appearing somewhere later, randomly doing a Young Avengers thing. We'll have to wait and see. But it's just cool to see that. He just gets rid of the wings. Easy like that, just moves on from it, and then he just kind of goes to talk to Isaiah. So Sam and Isaiah have a great conversation, and I think if you look at it objectively, this is like what the entire show was about, was this scene. It's these two men who are from two different walks of life, coming together and having a conversation that one generation of black people cannot see Captain America being black, and Sam's like, maybe we should try. And it's really cool because you see like this idea that Isaiah pretty much did like the same act of like self-righteousness that Steve did when he freed the prisoners in World War II. But when Isaiah did, he freed the prisoners that would be experimented on in the camps. He was sent to prison for it because of who he was. Like they couldn't handle this idea of the world seeing him that they saw Steve Rogers. And I think that is such a brilliant, powerful line for the entire show. That entire idea is why they made this. I really think that. And when you do that storyline, you say the Isaiah stuff, that's where you get the John Walker coming in being the clear example of why this blonde dude shouldn't be Captain America. That was such a powerful scene. I liked it too. The entire time, Sam is saying, I don't get it. I didn't understand why we couldn't just do that. The times are different. Why couldn't you just be Captain America? Because he understood like the racism side of the world, but he didn't get why Isaiah really couldn't just step in there and become it. And of course, it's just because the world will never accept it. The governments will never allow it. It's realistic. I mean, it's scary and frightening and saddening, but it's realistic. I don't know if that would happen in today's society. If we would be like, can we have a black Captain America? I think we lean more towards yes, but I don't know. It's likely that the same thing that happened to Isaiah could happen to other people. It's very frightening and it's very saddening. So we're just kind of like taking a break to regain our strength. And we get something that I don't think anybody was expecting in this episode. And that was just like a bunch of like nice looking dudes fixing a boat. And it's just nice. So Sam goes back to Louisiana. Bucky eventually shows up just to talk to him, kind of like regroup, figure some stuff out. And, they're just like fixing up a boat. Sam and Sarah calling some favors from the town to help get the boat repaired. And it's really cool. Everyone's just working hard to fix a boat. We get a montage of the two dudes just sweating and like, their muscles just glazing in the sun, just fixing a boat. And it looked really fun. It was really fun stuff. I like seeing that. The two of them training with the Shield, talking about, why Sam should become it now, or maybe why he couldn't in the first place, and Bucky finally realizing this is why you couldn't become Captain America. I get it. I think that was a great scene that was needed. It did a lot for Bucky realizing, yeah, I get it. I thought you could just take it and then, but now I understand it would happen to you too the way it happened to Isaiah. I thought that was a really nice moment. Just seeing those two it's just great. They have great chemistry. They really get each other. I like the scene. It's such a good scene, like where like they're trying to fix the boat, like the steam's coming out of the pipe, and then Bucky comes in with the wrench to fix it, but he's not using his metal arm. He's like, oh, sometimes I forget I just forget to use it. I'm right-handed. Like, it's fun. It's a fun joke. It could feel improvised, but I don't think it was improvised. I just thought it was very satisfying to have those characters just have that moment. It was really cool. I think it worked well. And you needed this. You needed this episode. I know like the producers and the showrunners were saying like this is going to be the tearjerker. I don't think it was the tearjerker. I think it was more just like the breath of fresh air. We had the intensive action pretty much since the beginning. This is just like, let's take a minute. Let's realize the world we are in again, where the government's like, it's not John Walker, it's not Isaiah, it's probably not going to be Sam according to them. We'll get to that at the end though. And just take a moment to realize this is our world. This is where we are. We should just focus on, Sarah's boat and fixing the stuff with our family and all that kind of stuff. And that's a really nice moment. And it takes kind of like talking to Isaiah and Bucky to realize that Sam has to step up and be something more. And he does. He eventually starts training with the Shield, learning to use it, doing some intensive running, doing some great stuff like that. And you know what? It looks really good. I liked seeing that. Sam is going to step into the Captain America Falcon costume in the next episode. I think we can all agree that. Bucky gets a suit from the Wakandas for him. We don't say it's a suit, but we know what it is. We know it's either going to be like a new shield, a new set of wings, or a new costume, or all three. Sam is becoming Captain America in the next episode. We can all agree that's happening. They set it up great here, just talking to the past and present people in the world for Sam, figuring out if he is able to do this and if he should do this. I think that's great to see, and it worked really well for this show. It was great to have those moments. And him talking to Bucky even, just like, in order to heal, you don't avenge, you apologize. You say you're sorry to the people you've hurt. Like, you make amends. That's what you should do. Because, again, he worked with soldiers who were going through traumatic experiences. That's his whole stick. That's why he should be Captain America. And it works. This episode was fantastic. And you know what? I teased it at the beginning of this video, but there was one thing that happened in this episode that felt so perfectly for me that I have to talk about it at the end here. And that, of course, is... we got rumors of a big cameo. People were speculating it's Chris Evans. People were saying it's Songbird. People were saying it's this and that and the other thing. But who it is, oh, I did not see this coming. I wasn't expecting this, but I loved this. Okay, so it is Contessa Valentina Allegra di Fontaine. You know, that classic character that if you've read any of those like early 60s, like Nick Fury books, she's in there. She's a fun, interesting character who's got like a big espionage thing going on. Is she S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is she Hydra? She's all over the bloody place. I love her. I love that character. I love the name. It's so over the top and crazy. But the cameo, you get... okay. For those of you who don't know, two of my favorite television programs of all time, Seinfeld and Veep. Who is one of the leads in both of those shows? Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she is here playing Contessa. I wasn't ready for this. I literally think this might be one of my favorite just like random cameos I wasn't expecting in any form of Marvel property. It was so good. And it was so just out of nowhere. She talks to John Walker. She's like, yeah, I get it. You don't have the shield. This government hates you. You're still useful. Here's my card. There's nothing on it. My name's Contessa Valentina Allegra di Fontaine. What's up, dude? It was perfect. It was so her. And now there's reports saying she's going to be in Black Widow and they got big plans for her. Are you setting her up to be the new face of something? That was it. I think that's the moment I realized that this was for me. I was like, you got Julia in here? Really? Oh, you guys, you're playing into my wheelhouse. I absolutely adore her. She is one of my favorite, like, television personalities ever. She has just never done anything wrong in anything she's worked on. I absolutely adore her and worship the ground she walks on. So now she's in here, potentially being the next, like, ringleader of a big spy organization or doing something, and you tease it in this. Okay, I'm on board. You got me. I'm very curious to see what she's going to do, but it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus in a Marvel property. I never thought I would see that. And here we are. Oh, it's so cool. It just opens the door to make me think Jason Alexander is doing something too. He's got to. He has got to. Him and Tony Hale, those guys, they will be appearing in something. They have to. Oh, it's great. I love it so much. So a great episode. A lot of people are going to like this one. If you like the more emotional beats of everything, it works really well. And of course, if you like the action beats, you got a great fight at the beginning that I know a lot of people are going to be interested in. So that is my review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5, titled Truth, just like that classic Captain America comic book. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.